The Silent Night. The bitter December wind howled through the empty streets of New York City, carrying with it not the usual sounds of holiday cheer, but an eerie silence that had descended upon Earth 3 days before Christmas. Commander Zax, for 27 of the Andromeda Defense Force stood atop the Empire State Building, his crystalline armor reflecting the dim winter sunlight as he surveyed the devastating scene below. Millions of children across the globe had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a world plunged into chaos and despair. Status report, Zax commanded, his neural implant connecting with the vast network of his warrior fleet positioned in Earth's orbit. Sir, we've detected unusual temporal signatures emanating from the North Pole, Lieutenant Verxe responded, her holographic form materializing beside him. The energy patterns match those of the Shadowkin. They're definitely behind the mass abduction. Zax's facial ridges darkened, a sign of deep concern among his species. The Shadowkin were ancient enemies of the Andromedans, cosmic beings who fed on the pure energy of innocent souls. Earth's children, with their boundless imagination and belief in Christmas magic, were the perfect prey. How many warriors do we have ready? Zax asked, already formulating a battle strategy. 3,000 of our finest, Commander. The Quantum Core is standing by, and the Star Riders are prepared for temporal insertion. Running his six-fingered hand over the control panel on his forearm, Zax pulled up a holographic map of Earth. Red dots indicated where children had vanished. The pattern wasn't random. It formed a complex geometric shape, a ritual circle that the Shadowkin were known to use for their dark ceremonies. Meanwhile, in a modest apartment in Brooklyn, Sarah Chen sat in her daughter's empty room, clutching a stuffed reindeer. Lucy had vanished 3 days ago, along with every other child between the ages of 3 and 12. The Christmas tree in the corner stood silent, presents underneath gathering dust. As an FBI agent specializing in missing persons, Sarah had seen her share of tragic cases, but nothing could have prepared her for this global catastrophe. Her phone buzzed, a message from her partner, Agent Marcus Rodriguez. Sarah, you need to see this. Turn on the news. The television flickered to life, showing breaking news footage of strange crystalline ships appearing in skies worldwide. But unlike the chaos that had preceded the children's disappearance, these vessels emitted a calm, almost protective presence. This is Commander Zax for 27 of the Andromeda Defense Force, a voice resonated through every electronic device on Earth. We come not as invaders, but as allies. We know what took your children, and we're here to help bring them back. Sarah's law enforcement instincts kicked in. She grabbed her coat and badge, heading for the door when a flash of light filled her living room. When her vision cleared, Commander Zax stood before her, his towering form both magnificent and intimidating. Agent Chen, he said, his translator converting his native language into perfect English. Your reputation precedes you. We need your help. How do you know my name? Sarah demanded, her hand instinctively moving toward her weapon. We've been monitoring Earth for centuries, particularly those with the potential to aid us in times of crisis. Your work in solving impossible cases, your dedication to finding the lost, these qualities make you invaluable for what's to come. Before Sarah could respond, Verxe materialized beside Zax, her holographic displays showing complex temporal calculations. Commander, the ritual circle is nearing completion. We have less than 48 hours before the Shadowkin ceremony reaches its peak. What ceremony? Sarah asked, her investigator's mind already piecing together patterns. What exactly are these Shadowkin? Zax's expression grew grave. Imagine beings as old as the universe itself, feeding on the purest form of energy, the wonder and belief of children. Christmas on Earth, with its magic and mystery, creates a unique power surge that the Shadowkin have been waiting millennia to harvest. Sarah's mind raced to her daughter Lucy, to her bright eyes on Christmas morning, to her unwavering belief in Santa Claus. And if they complete this ceremony, the children's essence will be consumed, leaving behind empty shells. They'll exist, but without joy, wonder, or the ability to believe in anything magical again. It would be a fate worse than death. Verexe's hologram flickered urgently. Commander, we're detecting movement at the ritual sites. Multiple Shadowkin signatures emerging. Agent Chen, Zax extended his hand, will you help us save not just your daughter, but all of Earth's children? Sarah looked at the stuffed reindeer still clutched in her other hand, then back at the alien warrior. What's the plan? We've identified 13 ritual sites around the globe, each corresponding to a point in their ceremonial circle. The North Pole is the focal point, where the children are being held in a temporal stasis field. We need to disable each ritual site simultaneously while a strike team infiltrates their main fortress. But that's impossible, Sarah argued. Even with your 3,000 warriors, coordinating a simultaneous global strike would be dash. That's why we need humans like you, Verexe interrupted. The Shadowkin's power is built on human belief. Their defenses are specifically designed to repel advanced technology and alien forces. But they have a weakness, they can't fully shield against the pure determination of a parent fighting for their child. Zax activated a holographic display showing the locations of other parents being recruited around the world, police officers, soldiers, teachers, all chosen for their unique connections to the missing children. We're creating 13 teams, he explained. Each led by an Andromedan warrior but comprised mainly of human parents. You'll be leading the North American strike team. Sarah's phone buzzed again, Marcus was calling. She answered to find he'd also been recruited, along with several other agents and parents she knew. Time is critical, Zax urged. The Shadowkin chose Christmas for a reason. The surge of belief and magic reaches its peak at midnight on Christmas Eve. If we don't stop them by then. We'll stop them, Sarah declared, her voice firm with determination. She picked up her badge and gun, knowing they'd be useless against cosmic entities but drawing strength from their familiar weight. Let's go get our children back. The next few hours were a blur of preparation. Sarah found herself aboard the Andromedan command ship, joining other parents for a crash course in fighting interdimensional beings. The Andromedans provided them with specialized equipment, not weapons, but tools designed to channel human emotion and belief into a force that could disrupt the Shadowkin's power. As she studied the holographic maps and practiced with the new equipment, Sarah couldn't help but notice the painful irony. Christmas, a time meant for joy and family, had become a battlefield in a cosmic war. But as she looked around at the determined faces of other parents, she saw something powerful, hope, burning brighter than any star in the galaxy. The Shadowkin don't understand what they've done, Zax commented, watching the humans prepare. They thought taking the children would break humanity's spirit. Instead, they've awakened something far more powerful than their dark rituals, the unshakable love of a parent for their child. Sarah checked her equipment one final time as the ship entered Earth's atmosphere. In less than 24 hours, they would launch their coordinated attack. Success meant saving not just the children, but the very essence of childhood wonder. Failure wasn't an option. As the sun set on December 23, Sarah looked out at the Earth below, its cities twinkling like fallen stars. Somewhere out there, Lucy and millions of other children were waiting to be rescued. "Hold on, sweetheart," she whispered. "Mommy's coming." The first phase of their mission was about to begin, and with it, the most important Christmas battle in human history. Shadows rising. Dawn broke over the Arctic Circle, painting the endless white landscape in shades of purple and gold. Sarah Chen stood at the command center of the Andromedan Forward Base, a temporary structure of crystalline architecture that had emerged from the ice just hours ago. Around her, parents from around the world were finishing their crash course in wielding the emotion-amplifying devices the Andromedans called heart catalysts. "The Shadowkin are getting stronger," Verexe announced, her holographic form displaying real-time data streams. "They're drawing power from the children's dormant belief energy. Our sensors detect 13 distinct power signatures, one at each ritual site." Marcus Rodriguez, Sarah's FBI partner, studied the tactical display. "These energy patterns, they're not random. Look at how they pulse in sequence. Commander Zax, for 27, stepped forward, his crystalline armor adapting to the extreme cold. Correct. The Shadowkin are conducting what we call a cascade ritual. Each site amplifies the next, creating a feedback loop that will culminate at the North Pole. Sarah's attention was drawn to a particular energy reading centered on the pole itself. Something about its fluctuation pattern seemed familiar. That signature, it reminds me of something Lucy once drew. A spiral of stars that she said came to her in a dream. Verexe's form flickered with interest. Children's dreams, of course. The Shadowkin haven't just been planning this for millennia, they've been seeding the idea through human generations. Those bedtime stories about monsters under the bed, shadows in the closet. They were preparing the children, Zax finished grimly. Making them more susceptible to their power. A commotion from the equipment bay interrupted their discussion. Two parents, a kindergarten teacher from Tokyo and a police officer from London, were arguing over the proper way to activate their heart catalysts. Enough. Sarah intervened, her FBI training kicking in. We're all afraid, we're all angry, but turning on each other is exactly what the Shadowkin want. These emotions, fear, anger, despair, they strengthen their hold over our children. Her words had an immediate effect on the heart catalyst she wore, causing it to pulse with a warm, golden light. Verexe's sensors went wild. Incredible. Agent Chen, your emotional control combined with your parental bond is creating a unique resonance pattern. Can we use this? Zax asked, already formulating new strategies. Better than that, Verexe replied, her calculations spinning faster. We can build our entire attack plan around it. The Shadowkin's power is based on negative emotions, but pure parental love, especially during Christmas, that's their weakness. The next few hours were spent refining their approach. Each strike team would now be led by a parent who demonstrated strong emotional control, paired with an Andromedan warrior for tactical support. Sarah would head the North Pole team, targeting the central nexus of the Shadowkin's ritual. As they prepared, Sarah received an unexpected message from her daughter's school principal, Dr. Maria Santos, who had also been recruited for the mission. Sarah, you need to see this. We found something in the school's security footage from the day of the abduction. The footage showed Lucy and her classmates during their Christmas pageant rehearsal. Just before they vanished, each child had drawn the same spiral pattern in their notebooks, the same pattern now pulsing with dark energy at the pole. They were marking them, Marcus realized. Tagging the children who still believed strongly in Christmas magic. Not just marking them, Dr. Santos added. Look at the timestamp. All around the world, children drew this symbol at exactly the same moment. It was some kind of synchronized activation. Verexe's analysis confirmed their suspicions. The Shadowkin didn't just take the children, they made the children want to be taken. They twisted their belief in Christmas magic into a cosmic lure. The revelation hit Sarah hard. Her daughter, all these children, had been manipulated on such a fundamental level. Her heart catalyst flared with renewed determination. Then we'll use that same belief to bring them back. Christmas isn't about darkness and fear, it's about hope, love, and light in the darkest times. Commander Zax shared critical intelligence about their enemies. Shadowkin can't maintain physical form in our dimension for long. They need anchor points, the ritual sites, to manifest. If we can disrupt these anchors simultaneously, they'll be forced back to their dimension. But the children, Sarah began, will be protected by their own belief, redirected through the heart catalysts, Verexe assured her. When the Shadowkin are banished, the temporal stasis field will collapse. We'll have mere moments to extract millions of children. That's impossible, Marcus protested. No, Sarah said firmly, her heart catalyst glowing brighter. That's Christmas magic. The strike teams began final preparations. Each ritual site presented unique challenges: a temple complex in Peru, an ancient stone circle in Scotland, a forgotten city beneath the Australian outback. The Shadowkin had chosen places where the barrier between dimensions was naturally thin. Sarah's team would face the greatest challenge at the pole. Intelligence suggested the Shadowkin leaders had manifested there, drawing power directly from the captured children. The tactical plan was complex but clear. While the 12 other teams disrupted the ritual sites, Sarah's group would fight through the Shadowkin's inner sanctum to reach the temporal stasis field. As the teams deployed to their positions around the globe, an unexpected ally emerged. The Andromedan sensors detected a massive surge of belief energy emanating from the world's youngest children, those too young to be taken. Somehow, their pure, unquestioning faith in Christmas magic was creating a protective barrier, weakening the Shadowkin's hold. The youngest ones, Verexay observed, they're still believing, still hoping. Their faith is like a shield. Commander Zax made a decision. We'll synchronize our attack with this energy. When the young ones' belief peaks, likely during their evening prayers and wishes for their siblings' return, we strike. Sarah checked her equipment one last time, the heart catalyst humming with accumulated emotion. The other parents did the same, each carrying not just weapons and tools, but photos, toys, and small reminders of their missing children. Remember, she addressed her team, the Shadowkin feed on fear and doubt. But we have something stronger: love, hope, and the unshakable belief that good triumphs over evil. That's what Christmas really means. The sun began to set on December 24th, casting long shadows across the Arctic ice. In less than 6 hours, the Shadowkin's ritual would reach its peak. Sarah could feel Lucy's presence somewhere beyond the veil of reality, along with millions of other children, waiting in frozen sleep. Commander Zax gave the final order: all teams, prepare for dimensional breach. Operation Christmas Light begins at sunset. As Sarah led her team toward the temporal distortion marking the Shadowkin stronghold, she remembered Lucy's words from their last Christmas together: "Mommy, do you believe in magic?" "Yes, sweetheart," she whispered, her heart catalyst blazing like a star. More than ever. The battle for Christmas was about to begin, and with it, humanity's greatest test of faith, love, and the power of belief. The battle for belief. The Arctic wind howled like 1,000 lost souls as Sarah Chen's team approached the temporal distortion. The northern lights above had taken on an unnatural purple hue, twisting into that same spiral pattern they'd seen in the children's drawings. Her heart catalyst pulsed in sync with 11 others around the globe, each team preparing for synchronized breach. Energy spike detected, Verexay's voice crackled through their neural links. The Shadowkin know we're here. The air before them rippled like heat waves over hot asphalt, and from the distortion emerged their first glimpse of the enemy. The Shadowkin were living darkness, their forms constantly shifting between humanoid shapes and abstract geometric patterns. Their eyes, when they had them, glowed with the same purple light that now infected the aurora above. "Remember your training," Commander Zax's voice steadied the team. "They'll try to use your fears against you. Focus on why you're here." Sarah touched the photo of Lucy in her pocket, and her heart catalyst flared brilliantly. Around her, other parents did the same, each connecting to their deepest reason for fighting. Marcus Rodriguez clutched his son's favorite action figure. Dr. Santos held a handful of Christmas cards her students had made. "Global teams report ready," Verexay announced. "Commencing Operation Christmas Light in 3, 2, 1. Simultaneously across the planet, 12 teams activated their heart catalysts. The devices harmonized with each other, creating a network of pure emotional energy that cut through the dimensional barriers the Shadowkin had erected. The response was immediate and terrifying. The Shadowkin screamed, not with sound, but with darkness itself. Waves of fear and doubt emanated from them, trying to break the parents' concentration. Sarah saw visions of Lucy crying out for help, of failure, of arriving too late. "Don't listen," she shouted to her team. "They're trying to weaponize our love against us. Remember, our fear strengthens them, but our hope weakens them. The Andromedan warriors moved in perfect formation, their crystalline armor reflecting the light from the heart catalysts, creating a dazzling display that seemed to hurt the Shadowkin. But for every shadow they pushed back, two more emerged from the distortion. Status report from global sites, Verexe's voice cut through the chaos. Peru team has breached their temple complex. Scotland team reporting heavy resistance. Australia. Australia's gone dark. Sarah's blood ran cold. Gone dark? What happened? Unknown, Zax replied, firing a burst of crystalline energy at an advancing Shadowkin. But their heart catalyst signature is still active. They're still fighting. The battle intensified. The Shadowkin, realizing they couldn't break through the emotional shields created by the heart catalysts, changed tactics. They began targeting the very ice beneath the team's feet, turning the battlefield into a treacherous maze of crevasses and shifting ground. They're trying to separate us. Marcus called out, pulling Dr. Santos back from a suddenly appearing chasm. Stay together. Sarah's tactical training kicked in. Form a circle. Back to back. Channel your energy through the catalysts into a continuous loop. The maneuver worked. As the team drew together, their combined emotional energy created a dome of golden light that the Shadowkin couldn't penetrate. But they were still too far from the central nexus where the children were held. Verexe, Sarah called through the neural link, we need a path to that nexus. Working on it, the lieutenant replied. The other teams are, wait, something's happening at the Scotland site. Through their linked consciousness, Sarah saw it. The team at the ancient stone circle had started singing, Christmas carols, of all things. The simple act of joining voices in hope and celebration was creating ripples through the Shadowkin's defenses. Of course, Dr. Santos whispered. Christmas isn't just about individual belief. It's about shared joy. Without prompting, Sarah's team began to sing. Silent Night rose above the howling wind, joined by other voices through the neural link, parents and warriors around the world, uniting in song. The heart catalysts resonated with the melody, their light growing stronger. The Shadowkin recoiled, their forms becoming unstable. In their retreat, they revealed something extraordinary, footprints in the snow, small ones, glowing with a faint golden light. The children, Sarah gasped. They left traces when they were taken. We can follow their path. But the Shadowkin weren't defeated yet. As Sarah's team advanced along the trail of footprints, the enemy unveiled their most devastating weapon, doubt. Not fear this time, but pure, cosmic doubt that struck at the very foundation of belief. Reality itself seemed to waver. Team members began to question everything. Were they really here? Did they really have children? Was any of this real? Sarah felt it too, the cosmic weight of uncertainty trying to crush her conviction. Then she heard it, faint but clear through the neural link, children's voices. Not crying out in fear, but singing. The younger children, too young to be taken, were still awake around the world, still believing, still singing their Christmas songs. Listen, she commanded her team. Listen to the children who still believe. The sound grew stronger, amplified through the heart catalysts. Young voices from every corner of the globe, singing in different languages but united in pure, unshakable faith. Their belief cut through the Shadowkin's doubt like sunlight through fog. All teams, Commander Zax's voice rang out, converge your energy on your ritual sites. The children's song is creating a resonance we can use. Sarah watched in awe as golden light began pulsing through the ice beneath them, connecting their position to the other 12 sites. The Shadowkin's ritual circle was being transformed, its dark energy overwhelmed by the combined power of parental love and children's belief. But they weren't done yet. The central nexus still held millions of children in temporal stasis, and the Shadowkin leaders would not give them up easily. As the outer defenses crumbled, Sarah caught her first glimpse of their true enemy, a writhing mass of shadow and purple light, suspended above a vast chamber of frozen children. "Mom." The voice hit Sarah like a physical blow. Lucy's voice, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere. "Your daughter is perfection," 1,000 shadowy voices spoke as one. "Such pure belief, such wonderful dreams. Why would you take that from us?" Sarah's heart catalyst blazed. "Because those dreams are hers to shape, not yours to consume." The final phase of the battle was about to begin, and Sarah knew that somewhere in that twisted maze of shadow and light, Lucy and millions of other children were waiting. Christmas Eve was almost over, and time was running out. High above, the northern lights continued to spiral, but now threads of gold were weaving through the purple, like hope breaking through despair. The battle for belief had reached its critical moment, and everything hinged on what would happen next. Breaking through. The chamber of frozen children stretched out before Sarah like a dark cathedral, its ceiling lost in swirling shadows and twisted auroral light. Millions of small figures hung suspended in temporal stasis, each surrounded by a purple glow that pulsed in rhythm with the Shadowkin's power. "Lucy!" Sarah called out, her voice echoing through the vast space. Her heart catalyst flared brighter with each echo, illuminating more rows of suspended children. "Your parental love is impressive," the Shadowkin voices resonated through the chamber, "but futile. We have waited millennia for this harvest." The power of children's belief during Christmas, it is intoxicating. Commander Zax's crystalline armor crackled with energy as he scanned the chamber. The temporal stasis field is anchored at multiple points. We'll need to overload them simultaneously. Teams reporting from all sites, Verex's hologram flickered beside them. The ritual circle is weakening, but the Shadowkin are drawing power directly from the children now. They're adapting faster than we anticipated. Sarah studied the suspended forms, noticing something strange. Look at their expressions. They're not afraid. They're dreaming. Dr. Santos moved closer to one of the children, her educator's instincts kicking in. Not just dreaming. Look, they're all smiling. Whatever the Shadowkin are doing, the children think they're experiencing something wonderful. Of course, Marcus realized, his heart catalyst pulsing with understanding. They're experiencing their perfect Christmas. The Shadowkin aren't just feeding on their belief, they're amplifying it by giving them exactly what they want to believe in. The shadow voices laughed, the sound like breaking glass. Smart humans. Yes, each child is living their most perfect Christmas fantasy. Why would they want to wake up? Why would they choose your imperfect reality over our perfect dreams? Sarah felt doubt creeping in again. How could they fight an enemy that had turned the children's own happiness against them? Her heart catalyst dimmed slightly as she struggled with the question. Then she remembered something, a conversation with Lucy from the previous Christmas, when things hadn't gone as planned. Their tree had fallen over, dinner had burned, and all their careful preparations had descended into chaos. Because perfect isn't real, Sarah declared, her voice growing stronger. Perfect isn't love. Real love means being there through the imperfect moments, the messy ones, the ones that don't go according to plan. Her heart catalyst blazed with renewed purpose, and others followed suit. The combined light began to penetrate the purple haze around the nearest children, revealing their dream states flickering like bad television reception. The temporal anchors are destabilizing, Verexe reported. But we need more power to break through completely. Commander Zax made a tactical decision. All teams, converge your energy on the North Pole. We'll create a cascade effect, when this nexus falls, the others will follow. Through their neural link, Sarah felt the other teams redirecting their power. The heart catalyst's resonance grew stronger, their light taking on a crystalline quality as it merged with the Andromedan technology. But the Shadowkin had one more card to play. The chamber filled with voices, not their own this time, but the voices of the children, each calling out to their parents. Mommy, why do you want to wake me up? I'm having the best Christmas ever. Dad, please let me stay. Everything is perfect here. Teacher, you always said to believe in magic. This is real magic. The voices hit the team like physical blows. Several parents stumbled, their heart catalysts flickering as doubt and guilt overwhelmed them. Even the Andromedan warriors seemed affected, their crystalline armor dulling under the emotional assault. Sarah felt Lucy's voice among them, pleading to stay in the dream. For a moment, her resolve wavered. What right did they have to tear the children away from perfect happiness? Then she noticed something, a slight discord in the chorus of voices, a fraction of a second delay. These weren't really their children speaking. They were echoes, reflections created by the Shadowkin. Listen carefully, she called to her team. Those aren't our children's real voices. Our kids know that life isn't about perfect moments, it's about real ones. The messy ones. The ones we share together. As if in response to her words, the neural link suddenly filled with new voices, the young children still awake around the world, their Christmas Eve prayers and songs creating a counterpoint to the Shadowkin's false chorus. The younger ones, Dr. Santos exclaimed. They're not just believing anymore, they're actively fighting for their siblings. The heart catalysts surged with unprecedented power. The crystalline technology in their devices began to reshape itself, forming a network of light that spread through the chamber like a web. Energy signatures are aligning, Verxe reported excitedly. The children's natural belief patterns are synchronizing with our technology. Commander Zax saw the opportunity. Everyone, focus your thoughts on your most real Christmas memories. Not the perfect ones, the authentic ones. The burnt cookies, the tangled lights, the midnight runs to find batteries on Christmas Eve. The effect was immediate and stunning. As genuine memories flooded through the heart catalysts, the purple haze around the suspended children began to shift and crack. Their perfect dream states became disrupted by reality, small imperfections at first, then larger ones. The Shadowkin's unified voice fractured into discordant shrieks. No. The power, the pure belief, it's becoming contaminated with reality, Sarah finished. With true love. The chamber erupted in chaos as the temporal stasis field began to collapse. Children started flickering between suspension and wakefulness, the perfect dreams dissolving around them. Containment fields. Zax ordered. We need to catch them as they fall. The Andromedan warriors activated emergency gravity fields while the parents' heart catalysts created nets of pure emotional energy. Around the world, the other ritual sites reported the same phenomenon, children awakening, reality reasserting itself. But they weren't done yet. As the Shadowkin's hold weakened, a new danger emerged. The temporal distortions were becoming unstable, threatening to scatter the awakening children across different time streams. We need a focal point, Verxe called out. Something to ground them in this reality. Sarah looked at her watch, 11:57 p.m., Christmas Eve. In 3 minutes, it would be Christmas Day. An idea struck her. Everyone, she commanded, think about Christmas morning. Not a perfect one, but a real one. Think about the joy, the love, the anticipation. The moment just before dawn when anything seems possible. The heart catalysts pulsed in unison as parents around the world focused on that singular moment. The crystalline network brightened, forming a pathway through time and space, a bridge between dream and reality, guided by the truest magic of all, unconditional love. As the clock ticked toward midnight, Sarah saw Lucy beginning to stir in her suspended state. The final moment of the battle was approaching, and everything hinged on what would happen when Christmas Eve became Christmas Day. The light of Christmas morning. The first chime of midnight echoed through the vast chamber, and with it came a transformation. The crystalline network created by the heart catalysts began to pulse with a new rhythm, matching the heartbeats of millions of children worldwide. As Christmas Eve became Christmas Day, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. Now. Commander Zax's voice rang through the neural link. Channel everything into the network. Every memory, every hope, every imperfect moment of love. Sarah focused on Lucy, not the perfect dream version the Shadowkin had created, but her real daughter. The time she'd knocked over the Christmas tree trying to peek at presents. The year she'd insisted on making breakfast herself and nearly started a kitchen fire. The quiet moments reading holiday stories together, when Lucy would ask questions that Sarah couldn't always answer. Around her, other parents did the same. Dr. Santos remembered every messy classroom party, every slightly off-key Christmas pageant. Marcus thought of his son's determination to stay awake for Santa, only to fall asleep under the tree. Their heart catalysts blazed with these authentic memories, creating a tapestry of real love that began to overwhelm the Shadowkin's perfect illusions. The temporal matrix is destabilizing, Verexe reported, her hologram flickering rapidly. Children are beginning to wake up. The Shadowkin's voice rose in a desperate howl. You cannot defeat perfection. We offer them everything they want to believe in. No, Sarah countered, her heart catalyst pulsing stronger than ever. You offer them what they think they want. But real belief, real magic, comes from knowing something isn't perfect and choosing to love it anyway. The chamber filled with a new sound, children stirring, murmuring, beginning to question their perfect dreams. The Shadowkin's hold was weakening, but with it came danger. The temporal stasis field was collapsing erratically, threatening to scatter the children across space and time. The containment fields aren't holding, an Andromedan warrior called out. There's too many of them. Commander Zax made a critical decision. Verexe, initiate Protocol Starlight. Divert all power from our ships to the crystalline network. But sir, Verexe protested, without our ship's power, we'll be stranded on Earth. Better stranded than responsible for losing these children, Zax declared. Do it. Above them, the entire Andromedan fleet began to dim as their energy transferred into the chamber. The crystalline network expanded, strengthening the containment fields. But something else was happening too. The younger children around the world, still awake and believing, had begun singing Christmas carols again. Their pure voices traveled through the neural link, carrying not perfect pitch but perfect faith. The heart catalysts resonated with their song, creating a harmony that seemed to bridge the gap between reality and dream. Sarah saw Lucy's eyes beginning to flutter. Around the chamber, other children were showing signs of waking. But the Shadowkin hadn't given up. They made one final, desperate attempt to maintain their hold, projecting visions of perfect Christmases yet to come. Look what you're taking from them, the shadow voices wailed. All these perfect moments, all these dreams fulfilled. They don't need your perfect moments, Sarah declared. They have something better, they have real ones. At that instant, Lucy's eyes opened fully, along with thousands of others. The children began to fall as the stasis field failed, but they didn't crash. The combined power of the heart catalysts, Andromedan technology, and worldwide belief created a gentle descent, like snowflakes drifting to Earth. Mom. Lucy's voice, her real voice, called out through the chaos. Mom, I had the strangest dream. Sarah ran to her daughter, heart catalyst blazing with joy. Around them, other reunions were taking place, parents finding their children, teachers gathering their students. The Shadowkin's perfect illusions were shattering, replaced by the messy, beautiful reality of actual human connection. But the battle wasn't quite over. As the children awakened, the Shadowkin began to lose their form, their darkness condensing into a swirling vortex of purple energy. If we cannot have their belief, the voices merged into one threatening tone, then none shall have it. The vortex began to pull at the children's minds, trying to strip away not just their Christmas dreams, but their capacity for belief itself. It was a final, spiteful attempt to leave humanity without magic, without wonder, without faith. Commander Zax recognized the danger. They're attempting a belief void. If they succeed, the children will never be able to believe in anything again. Not just the children, Verexay added grimly. The void will spread. Parents will forget how to believe in their children. Teachers will lose faith in their students. The very fabric of human hope will unravel. Sarah looked at Lucy, saw the wonder still shining in her eyes, and made a decision. Everyone, one last time, believe. Not in perfect moments, not in flawless dreams, but in the power of real love. The heart catalysts began to pulse with a different kind of energy. Not the desperate power of battle, but the quiet strength of a parent's goodnight kiss. The solid comfort of a teacher's encouragement. The steady faith of those who choose to believe not because something is perfect, but because it's worth believing in. Around the world, the younger children who had never been taken joined in one last time. Their Christmas songs rose into the night, carrying with them the simple, unshakable belief that good things were possible, that love was real, that magic existed not in perfection but in the heart's capacity to hope. The Shadowkin's vortex began to collapse in on itself, overwhelmed not by force but by the very thing they had tried to steal, genuine belief. As their form dissipated, their final words echoed through the chamber. How? How can imperfect belief be stronger than perfect dreams? Because it's real, Lucy answered, her small voice carrying the wisdom of a child who had seen both sides of magic. Real things are better than perfect things, even when they're messy. The vortex imploded with a sound like a distant bell, and the chamber filled with morning light. The northern lights above returned to their natural colors, dancing across the Arctic sky. Around the world, the ritual sites transformed, their dark energy replaced by the simple joy of Christmas morning. The Andromedan warriors stood down, their crystalline armor dulled from the power drain but their mission accomplished. Commander Zax approached Sarah, who held Lucy tightly in her arms. "We'll need to begin evacuation soon," he said. "Getting millions of children back to their homes will be complicated." "Actually," Verexay interjected, her hologram showing new calculations, "I don't think it will be. Look at the temporal readings." The chamber was filling with a familiar kind of magic, not the dark power of the Shadowkin, not even the defensive energy of the heart catalysts, but something older and simpler. The kind of magic that had always made Christmas special. Lucy tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mom, I think Santa can help." And somehow, as the first light of Christmas morning spread across the world, Sarah knew her daughter was right. The magic of Christmas had never been about perfect moments or flawless dreams. It had always been about believing in something wonderful, even when you couldn't explain exactly how it worked. The heart catalysts dimmed gently, their job complete. But they left behind something more valuable than their power, the reminder that love, real love, was its own kind of magic. And that sometimes the most perfect gift was simply being together, in all the beautiful imperfection of reality. As families reunited and the Andromedan warriors began their complex logistical task, Sarah heard Lucy humming a Christmas carol. Looking around the chamber, she saw other children joining in, their voices carrying not perfect harmony but perfect joy. The battle was over. The children were safe. And Christmas morning had brought with it not just the end of darkness, but the beginning of a new understanding, that belief wasn't about seeking perfection, but about finding magic in the reality of love. Commander Zax and his warriors would eventually find their way home, their ships restored by the very belief they had helped protect. The heart catalysts would be retired, their power no longer needed but their lesson eternally preserved. And around the world, parents and children would remember this Christmas not as the year everything went perfectly, but as the year they discovered that imperfect love was the greatest magic of all.